I've been watching been
Josh says you should be ashamed of yourself. I think he was complaining about the coffee. I thought he was talking about the music.
Oh, good morning, comicdom. This is
Josh, you should always have coffee in the house.
always.
Buy it in volume, buddy. Come on, you're a comic artist. It's either that or Monster Drink.
Now, this is Randy's playlist.
Yeah, right. That's my playlist. Sorry, that's a little boom. Too much for me. I'm more of a story guy as opposed to a beat dude.
It's a
Next week we'll open on my music.
okay.
That'll really put people to sleep.
How is everyone doing this morning?
Oh, Josh is running off to Korea here.
And for 2 months.
Clearly, Randy picked the music. Randy will pick the music for next week. I got a couple of good opening themes. Oh, that's not we're up. Hope nobody heard that. Sorry. Anyway,
It's okay. Let me see here. Let me fix my sound now. So
it's Thursday morning. Hope we're all awake.
yeah. Everyone's awake. I think they're all. Let's see here. Let them see our beautiful faces this morning. We're up. We're wide awake.
Did I tell you I talked to Greta about that musical opening?
Did you?
No, just kidding. It's that ever pouring cup of coffee.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right. And you read the headline right. It's not clickbait. Apparently, comic sales are up.
Oof. There we go. Yeah, but again, up. That should have been in parentheses with a question mark behind it. Holy crap, we're doing better than last year. Thank goodness. Well, last year you almost hit the drain. You're a little above the drain now. Ah, yes. Anyway.
Good morning, everyone.
Well, let's go back to the coffee. No, guess not. Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? It's Thursday morning. It's nice and early. It's a nice, chilly morning here in Michigan.
We're starting the day without our double lattes.
Yeah, no double lattes this morning.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're just going to have to just deal.
Hope everything's all right with you on the home front. Lola,
No, yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I'm not going to spill my tea. I'm actually drinking tea with you.
Uh-oh.
Actually, she's been sick.
You're not fooling anybody, buddy. That's beer. We all know. That's just beer.
Hello, Ted, Josh, Ralph, Trico.
Welcome, everybody.
Who
Welcome,
all in
everybody
the-
on
in the
Indie
chat?
Volt.
Yeah.
Indie Volt Radio. Hey,
Yeah,
how you doing, man?
listening in the chat, appreciate it. And listening on Indie Volt Radio.
Yes. Good morning.
Sweet
good
Indie Volt
morning.
Radio.
Good morning,
Now,
Chillins.
So this is,
Go ahead.
this has been a very weird week.
It has, but we should introduce ourselves first.
Yeah, I guess I could do
For
that.
those uninformed and those listening on their radios at home. Luckily, not able to see our faces made for radio.
Yeah, they're the lucky ones here. Lucky ones there. They got to see me. I'll go first. How about that?
Please, you are the MC after all.
Yes. Um, I'll tell you what that means later. Hey, my name is hello. My name is Varian Grant. I'm the co-owner of Last Call Comics. Been so for the last 7 years, and founder of Indie Volt Media LLC. I got my start making comics in 2008. The first book I did was Psycho Sirens. It's a white interior action, white and black. Is that the right term?
Black and white.
Black and white. Interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I am a father, a husband, a geek, a curator, a publisher, a reluctant taxpayer, artist, Disney Plus subscriber, and climate change denier. Shamefully not in that order.
There's always climate change, my friend. The climate is constantly changing.
Yeah, it changed from nice to cold as hell.
Jeez.
That's what it is.
Like a light switch.
Yeah.
Good thing we got back from Grand Rapids Con before we got that 8 and 9 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We've been dealing with that the whole rest of this week and probably most of next. So it's going to be a whopping 35 up here tomorrow.
Yeah. Good morning, Dave the Supreme. And Randy, your introduction, please.
Oh, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm an independent alternative publisher, printer, retailer, convention coordinator. Now I'm a commercial artist. I've done freelance work for just about, I can't say just about everybody because, there's a lot of people that I haven't worked for. But I've done just about everything in the comic market except direct market distributing. I've retailed for a number of years, and now I plan a couple of conventions a year. I still attend conventions. I'm working on some comic book stuff. I just got done doing a newspaper that we gave around 10,000 copies of for free. Went through 100 issues here in Genesee County in the Flint, Michigan area, water problems and all. And now I'm here doing commercial work. I'm an award-winning commercial artist. I guess you can say that, definitely, and without boasting or, and I actually have the evidence to back that up. And do a lot of sequential art, do a lot of advertising sequential art, which at times pays better than mainstream sequential art, and am starting to get back into that comic book business. So I'm creator of such titles as Tales from the Aniverse, Hero Bot Zero, Spank the Monkey, and Lindy Jacks. I guess War of the Worlds writer, noted scripter, and every issue of Overstreet, if you look under War of the Worlds, my name is there as my scripts begin. So, is that enough?
That's fine.
Family man, cat lover. I haven't subscribed to Disney Plus yet. One of the few people that haven't actually seen the opening episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh no.
So.
No.
My life won't be the same until I see it, I'm sure.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah. What are you gonna do, man?
What are you gonna do? Hang
it's
in
free
there,
for
I
the
guess.
first week. Go ahead and try it.
Yeah, talk to Comcast. Comcast said, we ain't carrying that.
Mm.
In fact, we're gonna charge you more if you want to see old movies. Forget you. We're throwing Turner Classic Movies up in the next tier. So you have to buy the sports package in order to see Turner Classic Movies. Thanks, Comcast. So what did we do? We cut back a package. We're now basic. We're now down to the basic channels. And
so you don't have like a Roku?
No Roku, no.
Randy?
No, I don't have Netflix right now either.
Are you aware that the only way you can watch Indie Volt TV
no
is on Roku?
I know, but I'm on Indie Volt TV anyway. So it's okay.
We got. You know what? I've got some extra Rokus laying right here. I'll send you one.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can just plug it up and you can get all the Netflix
just
and
plug it in.
Yeah. Plug it to your TV. You got Wi-Fi in the house, obviously. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'd be good.
I got Wi-Fi. Awesome.
Yeah. I got some extra Rokus.
Dave Supreme says Disney Plus. Dave Supreme says good morning, everyone. Morning.
Yeah.
Everyone. Yep. And he says Disney Plus with 3 crying, laughing guys behind it. So. Does that mean it's a joke? Is that a joke to you? Anyway, I have been keeping up with the streaming news. I'm the reason Comcast isn't carrying Disney Plus is because they're waiting for the Peacock network to start up. Hurrah! Nickelodeon just signed a big deal with Netflix to actually try to compete against Disney Plus. Don't see how that's going to happen because Disney's got a lot more and bigger IPs than Nickelodeon's got, unless You know, they've been hiding some stuff. Well, Nickelodeon has the Turtles, so there you go. Sounds like Randy's going to cancel Comcast soon. Randy's going cordless as soon as he figures out the right way to do it.
You know what?
We just keep him on now because there's too many network shows that we're following. Plus, CW's got Crisis going on, and that's actually making money for Comcast right now.
Well, two things that I just found out about Disney Plus is that they're not going to have any of the Marvel Spider-Man movies on there. And Tom Holland movies.
They're Sony.
Yeah, so they won't be on there. Spider-Man, any movie Spider-Man's in is on there, you know, but any of those standalone Spider-Man movies will not be included. As well as I thought this was odd. Garfield is on there.
Garfield is on there?
Yeah, it's on there. Tell the Two Kitties.
It's probably part of the Fox contract then.
Yeah, it must have been because Nickelodeon just bought Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh, might not be on there for long then.
Yeah, and
Yankety yank.
Yeah, Guy Davis was like, "Here you go. You guys are fine stewards of the property."
Jim Davis.
Jim Davis, yeah.
Guy Davis draws monsters for
that's right, yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
And then, the other interesting thing is that, gosh, have I forgotten now? Oh, yes, Netflix announced yesterday they signed a deal with Disney with Netflix,
Nickelodeon.
Netflix.
Yeah, I just
signed a deal with Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
and they're gonna be bringing all their.
So guess who gets Rugrats? Yay! You know, maybe Ren and Stimpy. You think? I don't know. I think Nickelodeon still owns them. So, not that that's going to save their network. Who paid for? Somebody paid for all of the South Parks. That was a big deal. Was that Netflix? Netflix or Amazon Prime? I think ended up with all the South Parks. Paid $500 million for the damn things. But there's how many? 25 seasons of that.
Yeah, they caught up with the Simpsons rather quickly, didn't they?
Well, they had that prep. That's another Fox property that they were happy to buy just to stick on their streaming service. And then you said that they went through and blew them all up for widescreen and cut off half of the animation top and bottom's gone. So.
Yeah, the Simpsons looks pretty
messy.
It looks pretty weird, especially the older seasons. You know, talking about season 1. You know, up to about 9 or 10.
They're bound to make mistakes when they start, so you might see that corrected here within a year or so. Once they get enough complaints, they'll go through and straighten it out. They are running warning boxes on some of their movies, even though they're not running Song of the South. They are running cultural and stereotype warning boxes at the front of some of their older films because there's a lot of cultural and racial stereotypes and so on.
Yeah.
So Disney was not exactly woke, yes. He's probably the opposite of woke, actually. You do some research on him, he was pretty crazy. But anyway, most of us eccentric artists are, apparently. That's what we're told.
There's Supreme says no competition, Netflix.
No. Yeah. And I think Netflix realizes that. They've been trying to build up their IPs for a long time. It's just that their IPs are goofy. Who wants to throw a bunch of money to Mike Millar?
My Netflix bill keeps going up. It started off at $10, and now I'm paying like
$13.99.
No, I'm up to 18.
Are you really? Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm up to 18.
That's expensive. They better give you something to watch then.
Oh, I can connect to I think 4 devices, and
you can always sit there and binge Stranger Things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Who's got the Star Treks? Who's got the Doctor Who's? Who's got the I think Doctor Who just signed with somebody too, didn't they? They just signed up with somebody big. All the Doctor Who's are running over there. It's not Disney. I know it's not Disney.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I was gonna look it up, but I don't.
One of those streaming services.
And it's funny because I have so many streaming services. I've got Hulu. I've got I think we got rid of Hulu, but you could get it with the Disney package for $11.99. But that's the commercial one. I believe that's one of the commercials. I can't think.
It's at $11.99 with the ESPN.
Yeah,
too. Like somebody wants to see sports. Just get to watch the wrestling stuff on USA. That's just as fixed anyway.
But yeah, so I got Netflix.
No Dumbo. Dumbo's on there, Dave.
Yeah,
Dave, I heard Dumbo's on there, and it's on there uncut with a big warning at the front. Because
Lady and the Tramp. I think Lady and the Tramp has
a live action.
No, but they had the cartoon has one of those warnings.
I'm sure it does because the Siamese cats are.
Yeah, the Who are not in the live action.
No, I'm sure they're not. Oops. Yeah, they, that's how much faith they had in the live action adaptation on that. We'll just stick it on the streaming service. It'll be part of the premium when we open. It'll be great. Anyway. But, what can you do?
I should have launched Indie Vote TV with
original content.
Well, yeah, with some original content, which we are working on. But I should have launched it with some some big IP. Not would have been a big IP, but
Zombie goodness with Black Summer on Netflix. Oh, there you go.
Randy, you did a few panels at
I tried.
Campus Comic-Con.
I did two out of three. Yeah.
And one of the panels that you did, you guys were talking about finding new talent in comics.
Yep.
Do you think that I caught the last 15, 20 minutes of that panel?
Keep talking. I'm going offline for a second.
Okay. And one of the things that was mentioned in that panel was that I don't know if you guys had actually mentioned was
Josh Lyman has had enough. He's in the back room right now.
There you go.
There he is.
There he is. Yeah.
He's had enough of our crap. He has to come in and add some stuff.
His mic is muted.
His mic is muted?
Yeah.
Why is that? Let's unmute him. There we go.
Yeah.
Good morning, you wonderful people.
Good morning.
Josh, they had a panel about finding new talent.
Hang on, let's welcome Josh proper.
Okay.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There we go.
Do you think Marvel and DC, do you think they're doing a good enough job finding new talent?
We should probably introduce Josh before we get into this.
You're fine.
No, but the listeners want to know who you are and what you've done.
No, of course. Let me get a hat.
Okay.
It's got to have a hat when you're on this show.
Yeah.
This is the dark.
How dare you?
All right.
Anyway.
This is the dark reality of artists. It's first thing in the morning. You got a choice. It's either caffeine and work, or shower, eat, do all those other things. So, hello, everyone who's watching, and for those tuning in and listening later on. My name is Josh Lyman. I have worked indie books mostly, from Aspen to Random Independence, from Special Agent Harambe to so on and so forth. Yes, eventually I'll get my own book. That's another topic in itself. Other than that, I changed where my mic camera is, so trying to adjust to being over there. Tomorrow I head off to South Korea for about 2 months, so I'll be working while there. Who knows? I might tune in. We'll get to see how the international connection for Indie Vault works.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just here. And it's funny. Randy was commenting earlier about whether or not, hey, if you don't have any coffee, you got to have something else. So we've got black tea and we have the one can left.
Oh,
Nas.
Oh, delicious Nas.
So, Marion, you were saying?
So, do you feel that Marvel, DC, those companies, do you think that they're doing enough to find, and even indie publishers, finding new talent? And if not, how do you suggest they go about finding new talent?
Well, the mainstream has been nepotistic for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably since they started back in the 30s, because I wasn't around back then, where they all got their buddies and cousins to sit there and do work. Stan Lee wouldn't have the job that he had if he wasn't a cousin to Martin Goodman. So even though he was basically just sweeping floors, when he first started.
I know this guy. He's good with these ideas.
Chasing after stuff. Yeah. Yep.
He
always says something about being a believer. I wouldn't believe this guy.
Go get me a sandwich. Yeah.
Well, how do they go about getting new talent? Like, what are your suggestions? Do you have any, Josh?
So, one of the main claims of fame that I quote unquote have is that I do a lot of conventions, and I do about 30, maybe almost 40 a year sometimes, and Comic Cons are kind of a dying market when it comes to actually buying comic books, unless you're buying or looking for those silver or golden age select issues or those mint conditions that are already been graded. Unless you find an actual pure local comic show where it's like, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to buy commissions, you're not buying prints, you're not buying merch, so on and so forth. And we touched on this in a few different episodes of IndieVolt at this point about whether or not publishers should have to pay the same kind of dealer spaces as far as cost, since they have to bring so much stock to make up their cost back. Now, I have witnessed DC come to shows and say, "Hey, we're accepting applications." But the reality boils down to is that the people who are in charge of making the decisions are not coming to shows for a couple of different reasons. The first being is that they don't want to be that person that everyone finds if you're sitting there at the bar or whatever. Hey man, I really like what Marvel's doing. Can I show you my work real quick? I really want to get a job. They don't want to be hounded, so they send a rep, or they send their assistant, or they send a social media consult. And most of them, like DC Comics, all they do now is like, hey, we're accepting portfolios. Make sure it's no originals, copies only. And then they just go, hey, we'll let you know.
I don't know of any publisher that does that anymore.
Yeah, they do. They do still do it. It's just those don't take priority.
Yeah.
I watched a portfolio review. Someone get their portfolio reviewed. I think it was on a documentary, but the guy said he had samples. He had copies of his work. And he said, can I leave my portfolio with you? And the guy said, I'd rather you didn't. I mean, this is the copies. No, thank you. And it's like, wow, that hurts. I'm trying to give you a copy of my work in a nice little binder. And you're like, no, thank you. It means you have zero interest.
And that's part of it as well. Is so I'm sure everyone's noticed, when it comes down to, for example, variants. When you have like the Scotty Young variants or the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man jumping through the circle, issue variants, so on and so forth. That just people, they find that that one person that can fill that void and replace that, and just continually produce that one piece. I mean, shoot, even Todd McFarlane, when he came back for, what was it? I think Venom #1, they literally just had him redo his own work. Yeah. They're like, hey, so just recreate your own thing, but updated style, and we'll find you a new colorist. I mean, Ryan, I just packed up all my stuff for the last 2 months, for the next 2 months rather. And I've actually got the Absolute Carnage #1 part packed with me, because I'm just looking at all the variant covers and things like that they produced for that, and it's kind of nuts. But getting to the core of the topic, as far as like applications for IndieVolt or any kind of independent publisher looking for artists, I think, frankly, from my caffeine kicking in brain. I think one of the things that really bothers me is that there's a lot of co-op, but there's not a lot of payout. In the sense of like, hey, yeah, I'm 100% for collaboration, but not in the, hey, man, so I got this idea, I can write it and you can draw it, but more along the lines of like, hey, I got this book together, I'm ready to go. Hey, man, I'll do you a cover, an alternate cover, or I'll do you, a filler page in the back. And it's really great, but a lot of these people with their covers are not getting paid. And so like their pay is basically, hey, I'll give you the books at cost, or something else, like for those variants of what gets sold, and then you can sell that. I mean, there's Action Lab, for example, is one of the more less than PG rated independent distributors as far as books are concerned. They focus on like Zombie Tramp and Danger Doll and so on and so forth. And they have a ton of variants, but there's not a lot of people getting paid. In fact, most of them, they'll get like a really low end cost, and then they'll get like, maybe 100 books if the publisher remembers to send them.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, that they, sometimes these bigger publishers, they forget to send those comps, and
Cortana.
If you're going to Randy, how did Arrow go about getting new talent?
Oh, I just found him at shows. People came up.
He skulked in shows with his hands in his pocket, just slightly leaned forward.
But we got a
Looking
lot
for
of
stuff, took one hand out and went through every single page one at a time.
submissions.
I'm willing to bet you that were people excited to be
For what?
for you to come to him and say, "Hey, I got a project for you." Where
Oh
Arrow
no!
comes-
Very rarely did we assign out a project. A lot of times it was the art teams that went after the creative teams that found themselves or brought us a whole project that was already done. So I didn't do a lot of mixing and matching. And hey, we need an artist for this. Outside of Corvus, we did that for Corvus, and tried to scrape up some decent inkers, that kind of thing. But other than that,
Corvus still looks good. Though. I look at that book and it's
man,
Dude, there's a crap ton of anchors that don't get paid.
yeah.
They just trade out the quality for their for their prints. They just trade out their work for the ability to sell prints of it.
We also offered everybody a percentage, so we really didn't pay a page rate.
But even a percentage is good. Like, hey, you're like, look, we don't got a lot of money, but this is what we can pay you, and we can give you at least this much for every one, or however 10, 20.
It was a high percentage. The creative team got more than the majority
Well, that's good.
of any profit that came out off of the books. We were transparent with them too. This is how much your book costs. This is how much we got back. This is the total cost. Here's your check
Yeah, of course.
for that percentage. So,
And from what I understand, another friend of mine just made a joke about that. What did she say? I have to look back. But it was just it was a. We were talking about comics, and she made a comment about Image, and it was
Would we really consider Image relevant at this point?
well, it was just about
Not
like
because we harbor on it, you know.
well, Image is a business model that not a lot of other publishers follow.
Mhm.
So
And just
they're-
posting a lot
they're
of
still
stuff in
interested.
preview and then forcing the independents to distribute the book on their own.
Yeah, and making sure that they break even.
Yeah. They're like, look, as long as we don't make our, as long as we make our costs, we don't care.
when she was like, you don't. No one gets a book. No one gets paid. No one gets rich at Image. You write them checks.
Yeah.
Unless you have an incredibly successful book, which
Yeah.
is incredibly rare.
Well, so we're making this that you're gonna need that money when Image picks up the book. You give them a check, not vice versa. And yeah.
Trico says we had a lot of times not looking at portfolios or scripts to protect the publisher. One time at the company I didn't co-found, we got pitched a book that was similar to a book we were already working on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things you got to make them sign those deals. That
We had to
listen,
scrap the project so the guy that pitched wouldn't think we stole his idea. Oh, that's not good.
well, you know what though? At least you guys are ethical and did that. I like that angle, Josh. It's the Dutch angle. I like it. Your camera. It's like Kenneth Branagh is directing your.
Hello. Quick, I'll put the 1812 overture over. You know, you can see me work. Dun, 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 dun. But sorry, go ahead.
And now, now that we know the comic sales are up just a little bit, but that's good. We'll take this a little bit.
There. And I'm
Well,
sure
I did ask that.
the media is going to run
earlier.
rampant with that.
Is that by quantity or is it by financial cost?
It's a little
Like,
both. From
little bit
from
of
the way-
both? Okay,
From the
it's
way
not bad.
Comicron runs it. They're running only off of Diamond numbers though, not off of Scholastic numbers or libraries or that kind of thing.
What? No Walmart numbers are added in on there for Marvel there, or is it Marvel or DC? I forget.
DC's Walmart
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Man, Archie Comics. On that note, as a total thing, that used to be a whole thing where you would like walk into Walmart or Target, and it was always right there in the digest issues. There was Archie Comics.
Mhm.
And it looks like they've teamed up with Marvel recently as far as distributing in the digest issues.
Yeah, that was a short contract that I think lasted only 8 issues. I haven't seen one since about a year.
Yeah.
ago.
I
Since
mean, I
Venom
saw
come out.
one. I saw one about a month ago, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's a different way to get people in.
Mhm.
And personally, when I was a kid, I loved those little miniature issues.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Like Archie. I mean, shoot, I was a fiend for those things. Looking for Captain Pureheart, and what was it? Captain Hero sandwich for Jughead, and all
Captain
that.
Hamburger, I thought. Captain Hamburger.
I don't remember.
Is that what it was?
I remember Evil Heart. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was like Captain Pureheart, Evil Heart, and then Betty Heart, right? Yeah, I don't remember.
I see the Marvel's trying to bring back the Treasury editions though.
Are they really? What are they
Yeah,
trying to do?
They
I
collected.
would like to see an updated appendix.
They collected X-Men Grand Design to a treasury sides book, and that guy's from Michigan, I believe. I think he's from Michigan. No, he's from Pittsburgh. Because
Were you
Pittsburgh.
talking about Stegman? Stegman's from around here.
Whoever did Grand Design, I forget the guy's name. But yeah. Oh, there we go.
I wish I could.
There we go.
Doesn't matter how many treasury. I saw IDW was doing a string of treasuries there, or close to treasuries there for a little while. Saddle stitch, larger size
Now,
book.
here's the question. Do you feel that the treasuries are more inclined for the original collectors of the single issues or for new people?
I don't know what their thinking was. A lot of it was pretty esoteric stuff that they made large size. So. Even the black label stuff from DC is oversized too. That's more
I feel like
size.
sometimes that's it's more of an aesthetic than an actual reading piece.
Yeah.
To use an old coined phrase of gilding the lily.
Yeah.
You know, you're just sitting there and it might actually ruin the art zooming it in that size. I mean, to be fair, the originals are typically a 10 by 15 to an 11 by 17 ratio.
That is an absolutely crappy cover for a treasury book.
Whoa!
Yeah, that is pretty lousy.
Whoa!
I mean, it's cheap though.
That's someone's art, fellas.
I'm sure. I hope they didn't get paid professional cover rates for doing silhouettes, but
I mean, my suspicion. So I haven't read Grand Design, frankly, just because I hate Cyclops. I hope he dies in a hole one day permanently.
Thank you.
But with all those utility belts as well, you know, they can count, you know, bury him with those because since somebody can explain them. But that's another topic. I think, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those situations where somebody had a variant promotional that didn't get used right. Let's look at this second. Yeah, hit that second image. I was about to try and click it. I'm not awake yet.
Ed Piscor.
All right, what's this? Ugh, gross.
holy crap!
Hey,
even
fellas.
What?
I'm allowed to be a diva. See, I'm already not wanting to read this because it's nothing but Cyclops. Oh, look, it's pre-utility belt. Okay, that's a win. Angel, I will say this. I did like the black and yellow motif originally. Like, it was a good look.
Well, Hickman would have you believe that those utility belts is where they all stash their condoms.
Yeah, of course, because you make it. So Beyonders. So this is an Elseworld story?
No, I don't think it's an Elseworld story. It
looks like an old Golden Age, and that's kind of cool.
But what's his name's up there? So I would assume that it's fake then, because he's a framing device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this story has no canonical value.
I should have bought it. There's Wolverine. I should have bought it in Cap. It was for sale at the Comic-Con for $10. I should have got it. But
This one?
huge treasury edition.
That's what they go for. That's what they go
I
for.
really feel like this is supposed to be like just basically just trying to be like, hey, we can create something that looks like the old stuff. When did this come out?
2017. Let's see.
Okay, that explains. So that's exactly what this looks like. It looks like a knockoff.
April 3rd, 2018. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's 2018 is when the thing. I'm saying when it originally was published was in 2017.
I think it was 2017 was originally published.
Okay, so that explains a lot of this. Like it's purposely trying to look like the beginning of the comic book world for Marvel, and it just doesn't look right. It's odd to describe. So like we recently had a guest who does their own book called Pink Lemonade.
Right.
And that particular style, it very much homages like Jack Kirby and some of those original creators and founders as far as the style. But he's also doing all that work solo as far as the colors and the line work and everything else. Whereas this, it's very clearly somebody that they hired who possibly worked during the original start of comic books. But then they hired somebody else and said, okay, we need you to try to make this look old. Make this look like just... as retro as you think it is. And I'm like, so you basically just want me to throw a yellow and put a multiply on top? Okay, that's not hard. I can make it look like newsprint.
The chat seems to agree. Says Trico says I agree with Randy. That cover design is weak sauce for sure. The Supreme says that cover is really basic for an X-Men, and Ralph says that looks yawn. Confirming that Ed Piscor never come on the show.
Even the interior artwork looks more 50s than 60s.
That's kind of what it feels like. Like they're trying over much without doing the research. Like if somebody did a movie, like, oh, look, here's Mad Men, and they're using cell phones. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah. Back up. Oh, it's okay. Alternate reality.
This whole market in general. Nobody does any research.
Speaking of research, Randy,
hang on just a second.
Okay.
Oh, you in trouble?
Do you think that? Let's see. Oh, and Trico, Josh Trico says utility belt is where they keep their condoms, except Wolverine. He goes bareback. Well, he's got 2 of them now, so
he's got it. Yeah, that's why he's got that big red belt.
He's got 2 things now. So thanks, Hickman.
I don't know. That's like,
they dumped that logo.
Like the Nightcrawler urban legend.
Oh, Randy.
You see, they dumped that Wolverine logo because too many people said, "Well, guess what? That means he's got 2 schlongs."
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
What's hold on? The hatred for Cyclops is valid, says Jesse Bird.
Darn straight. There it is.
And,
I like a redeemable hero. Like Wolverine is not perfect, but he is that continuous character. Sorry, continuous. Wow. He's that continuous character that tries to be better and tries to be better than tries to be better. And I think that it talks to a lot of us as far as like a character. Even Storm has that problem. Emma Frost has that problem. Like, I like a leader that's not perfect because then you're like, oh, whatever. So they're like, oh, I know what we'll do is we'll make Cyclops the bad guy. In Avengers versus Cyclops, or whatever. Avengers versus X-Men, and Cyclops is the one that talks the most.
Ted Davies says he's seen Bazooka Bubblegum with better covers.
So I was using Disney Plus earlier yesterday, and of course, comic book guy is a stereotype, but he's like, the only non-canonical piece of work I have here is Snoopy dressed as Sergeant Rock, and the title for the piece is, of course, it's Snoopy, and his doghouse is a tank, and he's a helmet, and he says like, my happiness is a high body count. I'm like, speaking of, I don't think anybody did a lot of research on Sergeant Rock for that joke, but
Yeah,
but
what they've been trying to get a Sergeant Rock movie going for a minute.
It doesn't. Just watch Metal Gear Solid and get it, or Full Metal Jacket, or whatever the heck it's called. There's only 2 things that come from Texas: liberals and cold pressed coffee. I don't know.
Speaking of TV shows and movies, Randy, I understand there was a little bit of debate last night on YouTube. I ran across this video
on the tubes.
Airplane is apparently one of Rand's favorite movies, right, Randy? Is apparently a hack job.
Oh yeah,
pull the video up
from 0 Hour.
Yeah. That was blatant. Everybody knew that when it first come out. Anybody who's seen 0 Hour, that is, yeah.
Right. See,
there's been a lot of those airport movies, and there was a lot of airport movies at the time where they bring in a big all-star cast, and it's always they're on a plane, the plane runs into trouble, the plane has a hard time landing, and
how many times
there was a lot of those tropes. It's a lot of those tropes that they used in Airplane that they poked fun at on purpose. So just like Top Secret and 50s rock and roll movies, and the Abrams, you got to start with a foundation of something before you can poke a lot of fun at it. I'm losing it now. The cop parodies that they did for a while with Leslie Nielsen are exactly like
Naked Gun.
Yeah, Naked Gun. Same, just basic tropes. Yeah, basic tropes that they can just keep, throwing jokes into.
And by the way, Randy, also for you, I will let you know that DR is I've been following DR.
DR.
I'm not gonna say the name because we'll get flagged. She's out there looking. I know she watches the show now too. Dr. Initials of Dr. has been looking since she totally screwed over a con with her wanting to get people evicted without getting people evicted from the tables without proper.
Okay.
She is looking. Josh, I think were you here for that? We had a situation at a Comic-Con where a young lady was evicted from her table because she traded tables with someone else.
No,
So,
I was not here for that.
Yeah, so
that was Yumacon. So
yeah. So if I say to you, Josh, I really want to sit next to Chris Enoch, I notice you're next to him. Can we trade tables? And you're like, yeah, sure. And we trade tables. And then the next day I get back to the show, my stuff's been removed. And I'm like, what happened to my stuff? And the worker comes to me and says, oh, you've been evicted because you traded tables. See,
Huh.
and that happened at Youmacon. And
What is Youmacon? What is Youmacon?
Youmacon is a convention here in Michigan. They wouldn't let Eric in this year.
Anime and cosplay con.
It's anime, cosplay, manga. Yeah, tell the Kobo Hall. I'm sorry, TCF Center. I used to be Kobo Hall, but
I need to be a diva for a moment on a total side note. It's really annoying when you're trying to fill out passport information and they don't put United States with the rest of the damn U's.
No.
Anyways, so that's a trickier fish than you would think. So, like, technically, I have found that anime cons are worse than large corporation events as far as like border tables. So they are, what's the nice word I'm looking for? Very overly concerned about making sure everything is exactly as the person who has organized everything has designated. So if you put your trash can on the left side of your trash bin, they could kick you out if they want to. And it seems like an exaggeration, but it's just one of those things where, yeah, that sucks. But I have a nagging suspicion if you look at the contracts for Youmacon, I'm sure they were saying something about, hey, let us know, or hey, we have the rights. Change tables, you're not allowed to change tables, so on and so forth. Because, they have their book. Most of them have a printout or a pamphlet or something telling you where artists are.
Yeah.
So just from a professional perspective, they both should have gone to the convention center. Even if it was between those two artists, they should have gone to the people running the show and go, hey, so just want to let you know, we really we were looking at it and we're both agreed we really want to swap tables. Is that okay?
Yeah, it would help. It would help if you can grab somebody and let them know. Most times they don't care. They're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Trico says, I found that anime cons are worse than anything else in life.
Well, Trico, I know you've been on here a while. I'm not sure. Does Trico do comic book art?
Yeah, he actually was a writer and found it.
Okay.
He was even though he won't admit it. Yeah, he co-founded Source Point Press.
Yeah.
Though they won't admit it.
Yeah, he
Well, I will say this as far as that's concerned. If you're going for comic books, yes, an anime con is 100% not your demographic.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that personally because I have the same issue. And we are checked in for our soul flight. Woohoo!
Real quick though, DR is looking the organ is looking to take her life back, and she is looking for work at smaller cons around the Michigan area. Beware, Randy. Beware.
Why is it only Michigan?
I don't have to beware nothing. I got a family that helps me. I got a really small show, Barry, and you know that. Really small show, real small cast.
She's from Michigan, so she's not willing to work for a company outside of Michigan.
So jumping back on the segue, because she wasn't in charge of something for her space being evicted.
Oh no, she wasn't the one that got evicted. She
now wants power in smaller venues with vaster quantities, so that she can feel like she can take back her power.
Well, no, she wasn't the one that did she wasn't the one that got evicted. She was the one who did the evicting.
Oh, okay.
There was so much backlash from that. She says that she wants to spend time getting to know more about running conventions.
So because she made that decision.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have sat there if people were yelling at her or anything like that and said, "Hey, let's go and discuss this." If you're in a position of even temporary authority, there's a level of courtesy and professionalism that you can have.
Yeah.
Even if, like what I'm saying right now, just switching into slightly better words, slightly more calm tone, like something like that. When you're dealing with that, when you have a lot of people that are coming in, they want to know where their tables are. What do you mean my stuff is gone? You have to have that ability.
The young lady got kicked out. Her name was Valerie Turcotte, I believe is her personal last name, and she said that they were the person who she was talking to was very bubbly. She wasn't the Artist Alley head. The Artist Alley head, who was the young lady who initials are DR, she never came around to.
And that's one of those things where she should have.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was going to bring up an example for another show that I did in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up and they had given away my table.
Oh, no.
My table was directly in front. It was a premium table, and it was directly in front in between the entrance and exit. And I showed up about an hour after Elodin's had officially started and about 3 hours before the show was still going.
Mm-hmm.
And they had given my space away to the person that was behind me because somebody had set up in his space. And I went up to the dealer coordinators and the organizers and everything else, and I ended up getting stuck in this terrible spot.
Oh, no. That sucks.
But it really just boiled down to is like there was no level of authority passed on to any of those people, and even the owner of the show. But I had to make my voice heard. Like I had to come in, and I was polite, I was kind, I was courteous. I like talked to different reps and different volunteers and everybody who was in charge of things. I talked to the wife of the owner, and I'm like, this is really jacked up, guys. And I wasn't the only one, but it was one of those things where it's like the optimal table location that I would have taken since they'd done the same thing was going to be a table across from where mine was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up giving that to somebody who showed up an hour later than me because his spot got taken by somebody else who had shown up the day before.
Randy, real quick question from our Ask Me Anything.
Can you hold on to that for a minute? I got to step out for a second.
Sure.
Let's go to pay.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see here. When you go to shows, Josh, and we've all had those little hiccups that happen inside of a show when we get there, whether it's and its level of how catastrophic it is varies. But like for me, I think getting to a show and realizing that the spot that I had selected was not eligible for power. Like I paid for the power, but electricity, but there was no way it could be ran. That sucked.
So I have two questions for you.
Sure.
Because this is bothering me from the side and might as well make it a public location.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you run like LED lighting, but what else actually needs power at your booth?
Well, the LED lighting, I run LED lights and I run 2 tablets that are
okay. So double tablets. All right, cool.
And then I got some other little lights that run around, but it's mainly LED lighting, that LED scroll bar that you see, and then the 2 tablets. That's pretty much it. I could probably save a fortune if I just buy one of those little Yeti generators.
Well, I'd say if you're driving, yeah, I'd say go with the Yeti generator. But other than that, frankly speaking, if you're willing to take the little bit of extra initiative and pack them up, you can get battery packs that'll last 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah, I used one of Eric's.
Yeah.
I used one of his smaller ones, his Omar, and it got me about 2 to 3 hours. So I know and his are smaller. Yeah.
So the Omars, they're really great and they're really affordable, but they're only 2-prong versus the 3-prong adapter for one thing. And then the other issue with the Omars really just boils down to is just that they're not as durable. They take a hit, they're gone. Sometimes you got to spend a little bit more money. Like I have an Omar, but I also have RAV powers.
Okay.
And the RAV powers will last. What's great about it with the 3-prong is you can put an extension cord in that. But it's also just, hey, you're like, I'm sure your LEDs are low power as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, the tablets
probably buy, one big old battery that could give your juice for your, your 2 tablets as far as that's concerned.
There was a guy at the Battery Giant store. He tried to convince me to build this jerry-rigged.
Well, since we've already advertised it in the video, just rock it on Amazon, man.
Yeah.
It sounds odd. There are very few things that you can buy niche at a store that are going to be cheaper, but with like return policy. That's the hard thing. Like if you're going to a Goodwill or you're going to anything like that, then it's perfect.
Yeah.
Just randomly swapped me back over from the live comments to the private chat. I'm like, that's odd.
Ted said you can be assertive and not insulting.
This is true. And that's where it comes down to, is figuring out what you say. I mean, even in a forum such as this, where it's like, hey, we're allowed to express our opinions, choosing what to say. Like, I'm happy with saying I hate Cyclops. Like, absolutely. I got receipts. I got books where Cyclops has ruined it for everybody multiple times. Be like, hey, remember that one where like Nightcrawler was in charge? That was good. Welcome back.
Randy, about the conventions, the question we got. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. The guy says that he is running a convention in his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
He says, the conventions are only as small as you make them. You have to grow the convention if you want to be a success. Your convention has stayed relatively the same size. I mean, you're getting to the point now where you're having to. I know the section that I'm usually in, it used to be a nice wide open area, like in terms of traffic, but now it's gotten tighter because of demand from people. You've had to add an additional island of tables.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that growth, or is that are you looking? Do you think this? Is there a point where you think the show's going to get too big for where it's at now, and you'd move it out of there, or would it? You're just going to stay where you're at?
No, because your person is right. I keep the show small on purpose, just so I don't have to try to grow it out and make it be big. In my opinion, bigger conventions, bigger problems. So let's keep it small and informal. It was always meant to be kind of a party anyway, once a year celebration for the paper, and I'm just going to keep it small. It brings a lot of people into the market, and keeps it going. That doesn't mean I'm not going to advertise or try to bring more customers through the gate. It just means that I'm not going to get more vendors, and I might get an extra guest or two to bring more people in. But other than that, I'm pretty set as far as tables go. I'm not looking at adding any more tables.
I asked Mark last year, when does he start not practicing? When does he start getting everything ready for the next year, for the next Grand Rapids Comic-Con, which is, again, a fairly big show. And I believe I asked Mike Goldman this before too, and he told me, and both of them had the same answer. I think Goldman said he takes like 2 weeks off or a month off, and then he's right back at it. And Mark said it's the very next day you're right back on it.
Well, yeah. Well, year. Plus you're doing what do they call that? Decompression. Decompression meetings, especially when you have a large committee like that, because something's happened somewhere. And a big 3-day show like that, you're going to have a couple of incidences that you're going to want to run over and try to keep, decide if you made the right move or not.
Right.
And to make a policy improvement, especially with your people, so it doesn't happen again. One thing
industry-wise I want to talk to everybody about, let everybody out there know that I found out this week. Don't want to reveal my source, but if you're an artist or creator, but I think mainly this could go for creators. If you go to a Comic-Con, you're gonna want to hear this. Hey, Sim, how's it going this morning?
Sim's in the house. Yep.
If you do go to Comic-Con and you set up, this is important. We talked about it a couple weeks ago about exclusivity, and we thought that at the time we thought that another promotion was going to be the first to pull the trigger on trying to get people to sign exclusive deals to only to only show at their shows, meaning you can't. And well, here's what happened. ReedPop has pulled the trigger. They are talking to artists and creators, people who exhibit at their shows about being exclusive to their shows.
So Jim, Rob, etc.
I'll tell you who. I'll tell you who in the private chat.
Yeah, it's not Neil. I know that.
No.
I know for a fact it's not Neil.
There you go.
But,
All right. It's in the private chat. There you go. But they are talking,
words I gotta read.
and
Well, he's gonna make more money with them than he is than any other show.
yeah.
Plus, I guarantee you they're gonna give him space for his own line as well.
Yeah, well, that's gonna also mess up. Will that mess up his drawing deal?
It's not really, because I'm sure what'll happen is they'll give him like a 10x20 space or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So he'll do his signings and everything for that thing.
What does it take?
His apparel line and all his other stuff that proves he can actually draw.
Now, these deals are gonna be set like this. So if you sign with a ReedPop, you can do all the ReedPop shows. You are exclusive to them. I'm pretty sure they're either giving you a table or they're really discounting your space. But the other thing is, now that means you can't go show at an Ace at a Wizard World, but you probably could go to your single, your single owner shows. Meaning, you could do Randy's show, you could do Grandpa's Comic-Con, you could do.
Most likely, it has some sort of contract in regards to like, hey, if you do this, then you can't do like something within 200 miles or 400 miles within a 180-day period. Something. I
want to know from the chat, everybody who does shows, is that a deal you'd be looking to sign? Are you okay with exclusivity? And if taking this from a fan's perspective, are you willing to like say, oh man, I really want to go to there's a show in town. It's the Motor City Madness show. But man, I know Josh Lyman won't be there.
Don't give a crap about me.
Yeah, but he will. I mean, but if you sign the deal with if you're someone's favorite artist, and you are someone's favorite artist, they're going to. Would a fan be willing to drive or wait to go to that next Comic-Con that you're going to be at in town? Because I mean, we're talking about conventions basically forming their own rosters.
I feel like this is the equivalent of comparing like the flea market table to Walmart. Because the person that we're referring to as far as exclusivity, that person doesn't have money problems. That person doesn't live off of only cons. Like they've got distribution through many stores. They've got distribution online through multiple providers. They've got licensing for everything. So as far as that's concerned, that's a whole other monster, I believe.
Randy, would you put your label an exclusive contract for convention?
No.
Who, me?
Yeah, would you put your label?
If somebody asked me to be exclusive, it all depends on how much money they were offering.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it boils down to. Is like in this case, he's getting a guarantee, so most likely for the contracting, it's going to be free space.
So, Randy, if I came to you at Arrow, and I said, "Hey, I want Arrow exclusively at my Wizard World show. I'm running Wizard. I want you guys at every show, but you can't do Ace, you can't do ReedPop, you can't do San Diego."
I don't do them now. So, yeah.
Speaking of San Diego, guys,
easy decision there.
Did you guys get the Josh? Did you get the email
for San Diego? No,
yeah. Open registration.
I don't bother with San Diego.
The email.
Open registration, guys. Starts Saturday. So if you're trying to get in San Diego in July, open registration is Saturday. I will be there attempting to get in once again, like I am every year.
Well, I will say this: ReedPop in itself is not just U.S. based. Yes, of course, we have New York, we have C2E2, we have Emerald. We now have a Florida show as well. What is it, Tampa or Orlando or something like that? I believe it's Orlando. So they're pretty much tapping all of the corners that they can, with the exception of San Diego. But they also have, they have a Korea Comic-Con. They have multiple shows that are owned in Australia. It's one of those things where it's like, look, you sign an exclusive with them and they guarantee you space and they can like accommodate you like, hey, here's a room for 4 people or a room for 2 people kind of deal, or like a massive discount for that, I would 100% be on board. Oh, so the private chat keeps not the private, the live chat keeps disappearing. Interesting.
Yeah.
There it is.
Also, I talked about this last week. Everybody who's doing conventions this year, anybody got conventions up this year and next year, make sure you watch out for those. We're calling them Zimbucks. No, they're not Zimbucks. There's the funny money's floating around at cons. So that's how it looks. Be careful.
How often do you get fake money?
I've never received it at a show that I know of, but there was someone in one of the groups that we belong to that had said they got fake money and they were very upset about it. They did catch the person, but it's shocking when you end up getting that.
How do you not check a large bill?
Some people don't. Like
well, when you're in a hurry and suddenly you've got 3 people behind this person and they jam what looks like $100 bill at you.
Well, if they jam $100 bill at you, your brain is going to go, oh, hang on. I got to think. Do I have change?
Most logical
Most
people
of the time. So I feel like, hold on, let me check this.
I don't know.
Apologize. This is not on you. Oh, look. Yep. The drawing is different. We're good. Oh, wait. The drawing of Benjamin Franklin is now a freaking Abe Lincoln. Yeah, that ain't going to work.
Or in this case, oh, look. Because this is one of the actual bills that was used.
So what's up with this? What is it? Red? Why does it have kanji on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's green money. It's money meant to be used in movies or, it's prop money. And it's also had these little lines here on both sides. You see these little equal marks, on both sides.
Are people just this not observant at Comic-Con?
Well, I think if I hand you the 100 like this.
Yeah, if you hand me 100 folded, I'm going to unfold it.
Yeah.
Because that's the corner. That corner with the indentation is where the secondary watermark is. For the second illustration. So, that's the area I'm going to look at. So, plus, I don't know about you. I have a little bit of OCD when it comes to my money.
Getting big money while working is the worst, especially at a drive-through. Jesse,
I mean, if you're working a drive-through, they give you a pen.
Yeah, I got it.
True.
I have and that's another thing, Josh, that I'd have to plug up. I have a couple of years ago, my wife and I'm not sure my wife or my mother got it for me. They went to the store together and they came back with the stuff, but they bought me a counterfeit bill detector. It's a little light, and you put it.
It's a light. Yeah.
So I have to plug that up. Yeah, and I always know I'll never take this to Comic-Con. There's more stuff, but if people are actually bringing out fake money now,
might have to whip out that light.
Yeah, whip out that lighter, that counterfeit pen. Randy, have you ever had anybody try to give you fake money, even at the front desk?
No, not. I've never had it in all my experience in retailing. I've never had anybody try to pass a fake bill. I mean, I've had a couple people show me bills that were fake, just as a gag, but nobody's really tried to pass one off to me.
Let's see. And speaking from the Ask Me Anything, how often, Randy, at your shows is people non-paying attendees a problem? Is the question. That's from Jacob.
And again, it's a very small show. I have somebody at the back entrance, somebody at the front entrance catching people as they walk in. Plus, we don't charge a lot into the shows. It's $5 to get in. And if somebody doesn't have $5, they don't need to be at the show anyway. It's more of a it's more of a deterrent to keep the idiots out than a way of actually making money. Because you have people that come in, if they can come in for free, they can come in and cause trouble. But if they come in and have to pay a little bit in order to get in, then they're kind of serious about being there.
Yeah, I've had people come up to me at your show. Not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but
no, that's all right.
And normally I'm right at the wall, and there's another entry behind me.
Yeah,
I've had people come in and they try to walk through, and I'll stop them and ask them,
yep.
Stand.
Well, there's always people like that try to get in for free. It's just we don't make a big deal about it. We just ask them to go around.
Yeah, and some of them don't mind. The others, my favorite ones. Oh, I just want to look around for a second. Well, you could stand on that side of the wall and look around.
You can look right there.
Yeah, I told them before, or when you didn't have anything upstairs, you can go upstairs and look around. You know?
Yeah, yep, that
But,
too. And there's a whole stage or a whole catwalk all the way around the atrium, so
Yeah.
they can definitely go up there and see what's going on in
To
the
your
back.
little dance on
back
the
section.
catwalk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
But that, like with the last convention that we had in the fall, I had Kurt down on the main floor, so we had a lot of people poking their head around the curtain because they were hearing R2 and droid noises going on. They wanted to see what was there. Yeah.
and then another question is, if we have any artists in the chat, and we do, yeah, everyone here is an artist.
Most everybody, yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with all of us being awake this early.
Um, has anybody ever received any art-related injuries? I'll go first. I have. I got to a point where I could not stretch out my arm. My arm would only stretch out this much. So I had to go to rehab and get my arm stretched out.
I think you're moving away from your mic. You're sounding like you're in a tin can.
Hear me now?
Not much, better.
Yeah, I had to actually. I go to rehab and keep getting my arm stretched out. It was stuck at I think it was 45 degrees, and it kept having to fix it and stretch me out, and it hurt, and it was difficult, but it finally stretched out, and I was able to get it straight. But I was doing a little bit more drawing at that point, and I wasn't realizing that I needed to, give myself a break. So yeah, that, and I think the only other thing that I did was kind of sore hand for a while, and I ended up getting that little artist lump where you hold the pencil, because I hold the pencil pretty tight.
If you don't have that, you're not an artist.
Yeah.
I still have that. I still have that callus.
Yeah.
Right there, from inking,
So
from
Let's see if
decades
we can get
ago.
that up there.
It's still
You
there.
have it right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one.
Yep, there it is. Bumps up.
Right there. Yeah, it helps. It helps your pen sit
Yes,
right
it does.
right there next to it. Yeah.
Any
That's an extra muscle. That's all it is.
Randy, back problems, anything like that?
Well,
Back problems? No. Well, I have a brace, but
Mm.
I had a bad time with my shoulder when I first got my board because I'm up. I'm not working on a flat surface anymore, and I have to keep my arm elevated. And I had a little tendonitis in my shoulder. And doctor said, "Does it hurt when you do that?" And it's the old gag. So she goes, "Don't do that. Says, rest your arm for a while; it'll go away." So I rested my arm for a while; it went away.
well, it's funny you say that because I do have tendonitis.
Uh-oh. In the shoulder?
Oh yeah, 100%. Right in there.
Yep, digs right in there.
where the shoulder connects with the back muscles and everything else.
Yep.
I don't share this very often, but the first injuries I got in high school, I broke these knuckles.
Okay.
So I have that injury, of course, in my hands while drawing. There's a few different things that you can do. Of course, back issues, it's a little bit of yoga. There's simple things as like putting your feet up on the wall and letting the blood circulation move up and down. Just readjust your spine a little bit, because like if you're laying flat on the ground, there's going to be a little bit of a curvature. That's just one of those things. But it's going to hurt for a minute, but you got to do that for about 5 minutes a day. Hand exercises, from everything from isometric extensions. Personally, I use something they're called bouting balls. Some of you have seen these before. They're those little circular metal balls that you see, kind of like Ifu, like I want to be Asian white guys carrying around. They actually serve a purpose. They're designed for hand therapy, moving back and forth. But one of the things I think is really, really critical, especially if we're talking about injuries, if you have an injury on one side, you have to work out the other side as well. So if you're doing the circular motions up and down, side to side with your hand, you got to do it with the other hand.
Yeah.
You got to strengthen both. You got to strengthen both arms. This is the reason why fitness is key. It sucks. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to work out after working all day drawing.
Dave says he's had neck strain.
Yep, neck strain from doing this all the time.
For me, the best advice I can give anybody, and I think that question came from Jacob, is I would I'd get up and walk around.
That works too. That's cardio.
Take a break, get up and walk around, move those legs, because you don't want to get a blood clot either. Randy has a timer. He said,
get a little egg timer. Run it every hour. Get up and walk around.
Yeah.
When
Set your phone. Or set your phone
set
for
your
an hour.
Yep.
For an hour, let your phone go off and tell you to get your ass up. Also, another bit of news that came out this week. Indie Vote guest one time, Indie Vote guest from a couple weeks ago, Hart Fisher,
Former Indie Volt.
made a. He's very upset. He's not upset with Indie Vote, thank God. He's upset. Jacob, is his name? No, it's not his name. It's his name Jared Way of My Chemical Romance. He's coming back with a new album,
I thought you were talking Jacob Way there for a minute.
No, Jared Way.
Jared Way
of My Chemical Romance is coming back with a new album, and our good friend Hart Fisher is not happy with it. Hart says that he is going to do what he can to let the world know that Jared is a thief,
plagiarist.
Plagiarist. Yeah, plagiarist.
Took a bunch of his poetry and turned them into songs.
Yeah, and
he's not done Jared's poetry.
Took a bunch of Hart's poetry off of his this incident that happened with his wife Michelle.
Interesting.
He says in his
Hart's a good deep poet. If you haven't read any of his stuff,
Hart Fisher's. Let me see. I'll read it here. I don't want to put it up because he hasn't given permission, but I will read it. It says, "It's nice to know that my plagiarism of my poetry about the rape and murder of my first love, Michelle, has been so well received by the tastemakers at Vice magazine. Gary Way, you sent your fans to harass my wife while she was recovering from chemotherapy and radiation treatment."
His second wife.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cancer. He didn't say second wife in here, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Radiation treatments for cancer. The first time I discovered your theft of my work. Now that Wakako has passed, you have no one to hide behind. I'm coming out publicly to resolve the wounds you inflicted on my late wife and for the disrespect you have shown my murdered Michelle, on which the work you stole from is based. And for every poet who has been plagiarized by the clever little posers like you, hope it was all worth it, because you can't hurt her anymore. No one can. You need to make things right, or I will. And he actually, it's funny because Jared Way is the creator of Umbrella Academy on Netflix show. Yeah, it's a comic first, but now it's a Netflix show, and he likes to tout that as his favorite, as his first comic, and that's not true. That's factually inaccurate. His first comic was over at Hart Fisher with Boneyard Press, and but he doesn't mention that, so
he doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to admit that.
Discuss the failures.
So we know obviously Hart is very upset, and he has a right to be, especially if he feels he's being plagiarized by My Chemical Romance.
Well, and believe me, Hart's
okay. So I got two really basic questions.
Sure.
So first and foremost, does he have record production proof of this poetry and everything being published online?
Hart, you mean?
Well, like I was gonna say,
your mic's all jacked again.
Oh, what do you say, Randy? Go ahead.
Like I was gonna say, Hart's the kind of person that wouldn't sue or threaten to sue unless he knew he had a case.
Randy, yours
unless there was a genuine problem.
So he wouldn't say something unless there was an issue, I'm guessing?
Yep. Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, both of you guys. I'm guessing Michigan just, didn't like you talking
it
bad.
Could be the snow.
Yeah.
Hart's the kind of person that wouldn't sue unless there was genuinely a case.
Okay, but he's making it public. He hasn't actually announced he's suing, and there's no record.
He's not afraid of making it public.
No, I'm okay with it being public. I'm just the equivalent of this is the so I joked earlier about I got the receipts. This more and more these days it comes down to actually having proof. I mean, it's a tragedy as far as that's concerned, but at the same time, I do have to ask if he has proof online or any kind of form where this is like, hey, I have publication proofing. Because I mean, it's man, there was a really good reference I was going to use.
He's published plenty of books of poetry in the past. If
right, and that's kind of where I'm saying
Gerald
like,
decided to just
part of
lift
that.
it.
Or if he posted it on Twitter, or if he posted it anywhere where he was like dealing with the grief of his wife, as like an emotional sort. He seems like that person who would be open and like express that and show that to people. He wouldn't just hide it and like, this guy comes over to his house and steals, his content.
Right.
Real quick, thank you, Ashley. I'm trying to get more in different colors. He complimented my hat. And it is awesome. It is an awesome hat. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm being the horrible devil's advocate at the moment, and, I'm emphasizing the devil in this capacity. I don't know. I would like to know more information versus just somebody publicly accusing someone. At this point, we live in a very accusatory, defamatory world now.
It wasn't surprising
insult or attack somebody without having further information from the post of Disney's gonna take away Fox and kill everything. I'm like,
what were you gonna say, Randy? You said won't surprise you. What?
So that wouldn't surprise me if he's done a number of blogs. He's got a blog out there.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of blog entries where he details all that.
And you've got the lines like it's line for line or it's the same story.
Yeah.
Yep.
This might end up being a Stan with Marshall Mathers situation.
I just wonder if if you're if you're Jared Way, do you at this point say, yeah, you know what? I mean, I was heavily influenced by Hart, and would that be sufficient for Hart? Or at this point, does he, want? Because I don't think it's money. I don't think he wants the money. I think he just wants admit what you did, and we can get past this. I think their personal and professional relationship is done. I think that's fair to say, but I do not. I think that I got friends who are heavy My Chem fans. I have a My Chemical Romance patch on something around here. It was given to me.
2014. So he's been harbinging about this My Chemical Romance guy since 2014.
Longer than that probably, but yeah, maybe it was 2014 because he used to.
Well, I'm looking at an article on Bloody Disgusting where they're talking ironically about Boneyard Press.
Yeah.
But the title is Hart D. Fisher goes off about My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way.
Yeah. And Gerard used to work for him when he was young. I think he was a kid when he worked for him. And now he's upset. Randy, have you had anybody ever do that to you? That steal your art or steal your ideas or something and go off back before 2017? There we go.
Yeah.
I'll frame that so that you can.
Yeah, but you have to decide how, if it's a battle worth fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. Most of the time, it's not.
How about
savage?
I don't. I've had some ideas stolen, but thank you. Yeah.
Apparently, Gerard did something called On Raven's Wings before Boneyard Press.
Yeah, that's what it was called. I don't know if I would sue somebody unless you got to be a prude or making money off of it. Now, in Jared's case, he's made a whole career off of it. But
at this point, a lot of it's speculative. I haven't read the poetry or the claims, in detail. So we're just going to have to take Hart's word for it until I guess it comes out in court, or we dig up those blog posts. I'm sure they're out there, though.
Would you?
Hart's very vocal and very open about his opinions.
It's funny, and it's weird too, Randy, because when Hart was on the show a couple weeks ago,
a couple months ago,
yeah. Everything around, right? Yeah, a couple months ago, he actually remembered. I was surprised that he remembered. He remembered hanging out with you at shows.
Oh yeah.
And he remembered them by details, and I'm like, so this is like a guy who will remember stuff. I don't know who forget anything. He has a great memory, apparently.
Oh, he's very sharp and incredibly intelligent.
I just wonder if I'm gonna see if I can get him back on at some point to talk about this and because I mean this is not pretty.
I'm sure once it gets underway, if he's allowed to speak about it, he's going to be very vocal about it.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is. You can go back and look at that podcast.
So, none of us got a
he really doesn't have a filter, which is kind of cool.
None of us got a word in. But we didn't get any emails either. We got one or two emails, but we didn't get any emails, and because I thought we would. I thought we'd get some hate mail, and but probably because I said I would just turn them over to Hart. He's saying, "Here you go."
You got more on us talking about Crack and Print than we did about having Hart on, didn't you?
Yeah. I got more hate mail for that. That was or
supposedly.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. And I didn't get anything. Am I?
Reportedly.
Yeah. So okay. What do I got here?
Uh-oh. Somebody's calling. Creeping in. I haven't heard from Standards and Practices yet today.
Yeah. Standards and Practices usually shut up, what did you guys? Why are you talking about this? I remember. I have gotten 2 emails or 2 Facebook requests for Josh's number at one point.
Not happening.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have Josh's.
If you're just still harping on that chick from like 2 years ago, don't worry.
No. That was from the first time you were on the show.
They just want to talk to him about his extended car warranty or his past due student loans. That's
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get your information for your?
Yeah, it's 1-800-555. I forget the rest of it.
Are you now you're going to Korea for 2 months? Visit family, is it?
Yep.
Now, how do you handle that as an artist? Because this can help other artists. You have to go out of town. Are you taking art material with you? Are you going to buy some when you get over there?
Half of what I'm carrying is tools to work. Because at this point, I'm just efficient.
Are you? And you're going to be doing like, and it helps because you can do digital. That helps.
Yeah, I'm going to do a combination of everything, but like I'm having to bring my markers, my pencils, my inks. So normally I go and I buy my tools while I'm there because I get them at a substantial discount. However, there's currently an embargo going on between Japan and Korea because Korea wants more money. And that's a whole thing that might actually impact when I get there. We'll see.
Randy,
yes.
Have you ever had to work away from your station? Like go somewhere and work, or
only if I'm painting a mural.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And that's a
homebody
in itself.
Always an adventure.
Yep. It's like, what do you bring? What do you bring? Like when I go to Comic-Cons, there's some shows I don't bother bringing any of my tools with me because I know I'm not going to get commissions there. And that's just from seasoned experience as far as that's concerned. I'm like, I just know.
Yeah, I've done drawings at shows, but you pack a pack of pencils and
exactly, and be like, here, I brought like a sketchbook,
when I had
paper.
When I had an office in a bullpen, I had an art desk down there and one at home. I discovered quickly that I did not like driving my art materials back and forth, and so I went and bought doubles. And I took like $100 and went out and bought doubles of everything that I had and took that down to the office, and that was my office supplies, and then I had my home supplies, and never the two should meet.
Yep.
And what ended up, and the reason what made that which really pushed that issue home, made me have to do that, was that I discovered it was cheaper for me to actually take the bus down to my office rather than drive down. Because I drive down from downtown Detroit, park my car, so that's like gets gas money. Then I have to park, that could be up to $10. So I discovered that if I just parked at the mall, which is like down the street from my house, and took the 45-minute bus ride for $1.75 both ways, I was, it was cheaper at the end of the week than going down there, driving. So
and that's a monster in itself of figuring out what to do when you travel.
Yeah.
So like, in this case, I'll be with my parents, so I'm not in a hotel, but I have my own room. But part of this consistent traveling for shows and everything is figuring out what I need, what's the bare minimum, figuring out like little setups. Like perfect example, there's one. So I have 2 of these for that exact reason. So normally I normally put my my Surface Pro on this just so I can adjust and work on it. But today I'm being lazy. I was like, don't forget, you got to pack this. I will need it. That way you don't have to worry about the flat surface or the table not responding right. You have that consistency of your tools.
That fits right into our next question, actually. Once again, how often do you suggest because we talked about our materials, but how often do you suggest that we upgrade tech for art? Because that's something we don't really think about. Because we normally you go to a pack of paper, you toss the remains, you go get some new paper. When you run out, you go get more. When it comes to technology for art, how often should you update? I mean, are we going by the computer model here, which is after 6 months, my computer's obsolete?
I wouldn't say that. I would say So technology in itself is worthless if you don't understand a core understanding of your tools. This actually applies even with pens, with pencils, anything like that. So as far as that's concerned, so I purchased the Surface because for roughly 7-8 years, I was using a Wacom like tablet.
Mhm.
And the disconnect between working on a tablet and having to stare at a monitor while drawing like this is completely different than drawing on a screen.
Yeah.
And it was one of those situations where, yeah, Eric Hodson, who does Dreaded Dinosaur, he and I were both kind of looking at it and going, yeah, we kind of need something more useful, more portable. And it was just at the point where Best Buy had a layaway program, and we needed to learn some new tools and have something so that we could work, because we were doing so many shows that we weren't able to get as much stuff done at home at decompression time. So having the portable device was great. Eric ended up getting swapping, I think, with you for an iPad.
Yeah. Actually, I bought his Surface, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the Wacom pens better
Mhm.
for the Surface than the one that they provide. Plus, they charge $100 per pen.
Randy, was there a big difference for you? Because you went from traditional to Wacom, and you have the big Wacom that you draw on the screen.
I had a little small Wacom tablet that was a hand-me-down from
Yep.
Rob Marzullo
Oh, really?
that I used for a little while. Yeah, but
My
switching
very
over
first
switching
Wacom
over to the Cintiq wasn't much of
amazing.
a change.
Unfortunately, it broke on me.
Yeah.
Like it was for back then. It was like this big. It was like this. The actual canvas inside was like proper paper sized.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But much like that really old, what was it? An Epson 250.
Yeah.
You know, the 11x17 scanner that made noise while you scanned.
Mhm.
You know, technology gets old. You know, and it fades and breaks. And
My
things happen.
my Wacom that I bought, my ex-girlfriend took, and when we broke up, she took it, and I never seen it again. But I do have a Surface now. And then there's a bamboo that my wife was learning to color with, but that was like the cheap, like you can go get one of those, like
Michigan.
yeah. Randy,
Chapizan.
when you got the Cintiq, did that help?
Still choppy.
No, you were real choppy and buffering there for a bit.
Yeah.
Randy and Varian,
There wasn't
you're
much
both
of a
on the same-
change.
Testing.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a change from working physically. With the Cintiq, at least.
Yeah, like you need the
awesome.
basis of the tool. Like the tool isn't going to make you a better artist.
Yeah.
There's an artist I did some variant covers for in DC who uses Autodesk, I guess, on the iPad or Sketchbook Pro or whatever the heck you guys use to record sketching.
Mhm.
I'm being a diva because, frankly, I'm like, look, if I'm going to be drawing to be monitored, I would rather choose when to record it, not go, oh, look, it's a saved feature. It can record my every keystroke. No, that's not happening. I'll buy some text, keypad operating, software for that if I want that. But
I think that for me, digital drawing, I'm still getting the hang of it, but I was just, anybody out there just doing traditional, that's thinking about switching over to digital. The best advice I was given is to take 2 weeks and do nothing but draw digital. So you can really learn the machine, you can really learn the tool set, because me, it's still, even though I have the equipment and it's still, for me, it's like, oh man, like here's a perfect example. I'm drawing on my tablet and I can flip the pen over to erase something. I'll erase it, and I was like, because I'm used to it.
Still blowing on your tablet.
Yeah, I'm used to it being eraser dust. So
Erasers.
yeah, I can't get it. I can't get it off of it. But I do like it. I think that it's once I master it or get a little more comfortable with it, I do think that it's going to be a beneficial tool for me to have. And plus, it's going to.
I'm going to be a little salty and say that there's no such thing as mastery at this point.
No.
As far as that's concerned, it's just become better and better, and I applaud anybody who strives to work. I mean, we've lost so many skills over the years. I mean, who frankly uses a French curve properly at this point?
Randy,
You can still use it. You can still use
Still
it.
have one, yeah.
Now,
Who uses an Ames lettering guide anymore?
I was going to say, have you used it on your Surface yet?
No, I want
Pop it
to
up and put it on the screen to do the curve.
I have used a ruler.
Life hack. There it is.
Have you used the ruler on the surface, Randy? I mean, on the Cintiq?
I
Yeah,
feel like you could use a clear one.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that kind of comes down to it. It's like I just found out, one of the programs I use, if I hold Shift, it can create a straight line. And I'm like, dude,
I'm sure that's on the software I have. I just haven't figured it out yet.
clip video.
I think that Sim, if you're still here with us, I think you draw traditional, wasn't it? Or no, it was digital. I think it was all digital.
I think the only thing I can really say is to counter that is I would say do both. Like maybe do like a 60-40 ratio when you're learning it. Still do traditional, but find out what works for you, because when you're doing digital, you got to figure out what brushes work for you. So like the things that you like, the consistency of your style, things like that. Not just buying a bunch of brushes or, oh, well, somebody else uses this, so I must use that brush. Like figure out, test those. Sure, if there's some freebies, test them. If you already have a set style, people are come looking for your style.
Bianca asked from the Ask Me Anything, how much do Simon says, I don't use rulers even in digital. Oh, okay.
There's no such thing as a straight line. Hey.
Yeah. Bianca asked, how much do publishers pay for people to cosplay as their character? She's looking to get
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
All depends upon the publisher. Because I'm sure when we were at Grand Rapids, somebody was getting paid to cosplay.
Not a zilch, zippo.
Yeah, for me, I probably be zilch. But I mean, I pay your way to get in the con.
I was gonna say, if I'm gonna be less than salty about it, so cosplaying in itself is being a model. Modeling services has not changed since the 60s to 70s. So as far as that's concerned, sometimes you may get paid, sometimes you won't. I mean, there's a reason why when people are trying to sell gamer chairs, they employ attractive girls to try and get you to buy those chairs. There's a reason why when you're on there for Instagram or YouTube or whatever have you, and they're sitting and going, have you tried Skinny Tea? It's the best. They're either getting comped in product, they're getting paid very low. Anything like that, it's going to be like any other service as far as that's concerned. So you can establish your own rate if you've proven for your cosplaying that you can actually, increase their sales through other people. You may have to do some free ones originally, as far as that's concerned. Or, the company may pay for the fabric for the costume, but then, you got to make sure that costume is distributable as a pattern. Should they want to hire somebody else, not just make it exclusive to you.
And I would say this: if you're looking to get into cosplaying for a company, maybe maybe make the costume yourself and that company.
Go with the age-old stand. Well, yeah, you're most of the time you're going to make it yourself. I mean, the age-old starter was Jessica Negri. That's the only reason she blew up, because she was doing the same thing. She started out selling video game chairs and stuff, and the Lollipop Chainsaw people. They hired her to work the show and help promote at PAX East or something.
Yep.
And somebody got upset about her in this outfit that she was in. And she'd always been very tame in her cosplays prior to that.
Yeah.
But this was on point, on model.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she's a cosplay icon.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things where it's like, look, it's not just oh, hey, I can go out to the company and, they'll hire me or they'll pay for a costume or they'll go get the Brandon whatever bodysuit and put me in it, kind of deal. That's like the Jamie Tyndale's, White Widow costumes and things like that. There's so many mechanics behind that.
Yeah.
Not to be a gatekeeper or over explain it, but that's it's just one of those things where it's a lot more complicated than just going and reaching out to that company and going, oh, hey, this is my rate, or hey, what do you guys pay?
Jesse Bird says, I've had a very hard time transitioning from traditional to digital. Do you guys have any suggestions on someone still starting out? And Simon says, the 1,000 hours rule, practice makes perfect. Randy, you agree with that?
That's the best advice. Yes.
Yeah.
Just keep working
Practice
at it.
does make perfect. I will say that for sure. I will agree.
I would just say keep doing it. Keep working at it.
Decent.
It's just a tool. You just have to learn how to use it. And most of the time it's hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination, and make sure that you're comfortable. Like, Just
Yeah.
because you got a tablet doesn't mean you shouldn't. You can just sit there and draw, upside down. It's still, you still have to respect and go by the same model that you would if you were drawing at a desk.
It's very true.
Get somewhere, get comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better you're going to adapt to this new tool that you have there in front of you. And with that being said, guys, I think it's about time that we head off. But I want to leave everybody with a question. We just recently celebrate. Well, I don't celebrate, but we had the anniversary of Stanley's death, and I seen a question on a page that asked, "Have we replaced Stan? Is there a new Stan?"
No.
And I don't think that we should be trying to replace Stan. I don't think there's a replacement for Stan. I don't think there'll ever be another Stanley. Just as there'll never be another, Todd McFarlane or another, Kirby or whoever. We will never have those people back. But it seems that the community, I hate using that word, but they are so focused on trying to, I guess the best way to mourn Stan for them is to find somebody to replace him. Is that something that you think but the question was asked was, is there an indie Stan?
No.
An indie Stan?
Yeah.
Technically, I would have to say that would be Todd and Jim originally.
Yeah.
But
You
they
would
went
have
back.
to classify them as
So-
indie first, though.
Yeah. Well, they did Marvel, then they went indie, and then they went Marvel. And then
I don't know if there's an indie Stan, and I think the idea of having an indie Stan
sounds
is an indie Stanley is kind of weird because it's like Stan was a company guy. So
multiple companies. Let's check the bankruptcy receipts.
I know if you mean the universe building, well then there's 1,000 people out there who are trying to build universes. But yeah, I don't think they will ever get another Stan. However, I did get a chance to get my artwork looked at by Jim Shooter this week, and that was cool. Or last week, so that was cool. So
Oh, that wasn't faked.
no, that was the picture was posed. We posed for the picture, but afterwards, Jim told me my artwork looked really good, and he was happy about that. So yeah, I will. I will end the show there, and I will see you guys Tuesday.
You will not see me.
No, Josh will not be here. Josh will be
He's leaving on a jet plane.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's tomorrow.
Don't
I'll
know
be
when he'll be back.
probably still readjusting to the time zone at that point.
What time are you leaving?
5 a.m. tomorrow, 5:30ish, and then I will get there 4 o'clock their time. But it's a 14-hour time difference, so it'll be 4 o'clock on Saturday there.
Yeah, you'll be. Yikes.
Yeah, so
All
I'll be resetting. I'm debating bringing my mic anyways, so that we can test things out. Otherwise, my Surface has a camera and a microphone.
Yeah, you can always pop in. Oh, we have two comments. All right, so oh yeah, said Simon said Eastman since Dave Sim is a bit touchy. Yikes. Yeah, a bit
Yes.
touchy. Did you mean a bit touchy like that? Simon Hughes. And
Literally, I guess.
yeah, Simon says they were two pivotal creators in the indie world. Yeah, Eastman and Laird. I mean, yeah, they created. They laughed all the way to the bank.
So you're not going to see a replacement for Stanley, indie, mainstream, or wherever. I mean,
Mhm.
Not at all.
it'll be a long time. I think, and comics will be lucky if they ever get that kind of a showman back in again in order to promote the art form.
Yeah. It'll be a long, long time. Until then, everyone, though, until Tuesday, next week, Tuesday at 9, we're going to have some guests. I'll be announcing those guests very shortly here. We're going to talk about some comics. We're going to look at some Kickstarters. Yes, Kickstarters. And some Indiegogo campaigns. If you haven't, please try to go reach out and back God's Hand. That's a book that
It's on Indiegogo by
Indiegogo.
Tony
Figueroa.
Figaro. Yes.
Anthony Figueroa. But yeah, he's a fantastic artist, real cool guy. And he's
Jump in on the short version of it. It's got a very 90s feel to it.
Yep.
yeah,
It's
Nice
a New
product.
Orleans BRPD, basically.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a good book. I backed it. Randy's backed it, I believe.
Yeah, I backed it.
And it's going to be out in March. He's working very hard on getting that book done. He's been on the show twice now. So, and then obviously,
Yep,
if you
I
haven't
saw
had
it.
an opportunity, make sure that you back Blood Hunt at Simon's book. And
Yes.
I believe,
Choppity chop.
yeah, I believe that's on demand now. It better be.
Yeah.
If it's not, do it again. And yeah, so anyway, everybody, please be safe this weekend. Have a great weekend. And you never know, we might break in with some breaking news this week. Yep. And wish Josh a happy flight to Korea.
Happy and safe flight.
Happy
Thanks.
flight. All right, everybody. This has been Indie Vote, the Breakfast Buzz. We didn't run the intro today, but we're gonna run it as we close the show. That's right. Intro. Yep. All right, everybody.
You didn't run the intro.
How dare you?
He's waiting to use that.
What? No. No.
What? And I'll see.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
New material.
Have a good day.
Take care, everybody. See you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Tuesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern
9
Standard Time.
p.m.